Sí, acá estamos. Me encanta este momento. Mirá,
Here we are. I love this moment. I will tell you, this is a historic moment, and we have to remember this moment forever. After May 27, 2021, at 5 o'clock, 5 minutes past 5 o'clock, this is a historic moment. We have 144 people connected, people from Nicaragua, Venezuela, Colombia, Bolivia, from Dominican Republic, Uruguay, Mexico. It's impressive how many people is listening to us. And what are they looking at? They are looking at LEAF launching. LEAF is the Laboratory for Evaluation of Adjuvants and Formulations. And where is it? In Silicon Valley? No, it is in Pergamino, a city of 100,000 inhabitants, where all the latest agriculture technology is located. We will learn all the things that this laboratory has, very useful things for you as a grower and as a technician, as an expert in technology. I will introduce Ricardo Shapur, his Rizobacter CEO. You are very serious. Please smile. I like that smile. He's proud of this long work after many years. In these inaugurations, in this launching, the good thing is when we have public-private interaction. Here we have Fabir Martinez, the mayor of Peraminos. How are you? How are you, Ricardo? It's a pleasure to see you here. I want to greet all the Rizobacter family, all the audience. You talked about pride. This family, the Rizobacter family, which I had the pleasure to support in other inaugurations. I remember Sinatec, the modified wheat, and this lab as locals is a pride. This company is a company of entrepreneurs who understand that the world needs to be fed, and we have the obligation to provide that food to them. And also we have to protect the environment, because the land where we'll live is the same place where our children and grandchildren will live. So it is important to have a good production, taking care of the environment and sustainability. And above all, the mission that we have is to generate jobs for people. As the mayor of this city, I'm really proud of this company, of the people that lead this company. I love to see you now, Javier. I've already interviewed you 8 or 10 years ago when the livestock market was opened in Pergamini. I remember that then people talk about the productive cluster of Pergamino, and people say sooner or later this company will have to be stabilized. Pergamino has room to grow. Pergamino is a place where people can find a job, and some years later, I saw you in a CREA group where you spoke about entrepreneurs and technology. This technological innovation cluster, I remember I saw you there, and considering what you are telling to me, our region, a couple of years ago, people started to trust the country, and it seemed that the country had clear rules. This is what entrepreneurs need, clear rules. And we were able to see that with specific investment in specific places, those villages, those towns started to have full employment. We had that experience in Ramasho with the edible oil companies, with seed companies. And this is the truth. When the conditions are there, when investment is generated with trust, employment grows. And this is what we have to, this is the possibility that we have to give to private companies. Rizobacter always was looking forward and always has been investing, growing, and providing employment. But it's far easier when you have clear rules and you know where you are standing. If we can sign an agreement by which we undertake to respect rules reducing public expenditure, I think that this is the only way to reduce taxes, and this would allow to be more confident. Our private capital companies as your own company or entrepreneurs as you, Ricardo, will be able to develop and to generate employment as we expect them to do. I hope that the government and politicians can provide these guidelines. I was talking with Ricardo, whom I've met many years ago. I've met the people from Rizobacter in 1986, many years ago. It is very interesting what has been achieved in this industrial park. Rizobacter was one of the first companies. At the beginning, there was an open sort of countryside, open land with a few companies, and Rizobacter was one of the first. I saw other industrial parks that are emptier. And I know, I can tell that the industrial park in Pergamino is full of driving companies. I think that you can also be proud to be in a city where undertakers, where entrepreneurs are drivers of the economy. This is a challenge. I'm sure that the unemployment rates are lower in our city, and poverty rates also are lower than in other places. And so the businessmen and entrepreneurs have a responsibility in this. There are entrepreneurs that no matter what the government administration is, they find a way and they manage to go forward. But there are other entrepreneurs that sometimes get scared when specific elements are in place. They never start and they are not able to develop. And this kind of people are the people who need clearer rules. We are 4 years ago, we underwent a regional development stage. And so now we are undergoing a very similar experience. When you talk about the industrial park, 35 years ago, this park was nothing. Jorge Mamule, one of Rizobacter's founders, said, this is an industrial grassland, because we were the only ones in this piece of land. We had stray horses. And now you see a group of companies that really filled the industrial park, and we have more than 2 people working here. So when investment is favored, is promoted, and when there are people willing to invest and to push forward, nobody will stop us. I agree with you. I also remember the beginnings, talking about betting and betting for technology. This is the case of Pergamino. I've been working in Pergamino, working in a seed company, and we talk about a seed cluster. A cluster is an ecosystem that includes scientists, growers, technologists. Also, the educational level of this city is very high. We also have a university there, so this has to be valued. So when I told you in the past that this city should have 200,000 inhabitants, I insist on that. These cities should be drivers. Yes, we have a lot to develop. We are part of the seed cluster together with Venado Tuerto. We have an experience and history along those lines. We should also say that we have an inter-regional office in Pergamino. We have many companies and institutions with a huge body of knowledge, people that have researched on seeds, on technology. I think that this city, the only thing left for this city is to continue growing. Thank you very much, Javier, for being with us. I would like to listen together with the audience from all the country, from other places. I would like to listen to Federico Trucco, Bioceres CEO. Can we listen? Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to participate in this event to launch the Center of Excellence for the Evaluation of New Technologies, the laboratory for evaluation of adjuvants and formulations, and thus be able to continue consolidating our position in the market of these type of products before our customers and our strategic partners. Doing it here in Pergamino Industrial Park, where we have our main productive activity, and sharing the event with Mayor Javier Martinez, it's a great joy for us. I would like to congratulate the team that has been leading this process internally in order to achieve this kind of capabilities locally, particularly Juan Pablo and the rest of his team in the area of surfactants and formulations, who showed this is a way to continue contributing to our mission of maintaining and increasing the productivity of agroecosystems, while at the same time trying to minimize the impact of agriculture on the environment. There are 5 million hectares in our country growing in peri-urban areas where agriculture needs greater precision, greater effectiveness, and less environmental impact every day. And this type of investment, these type of possibilities are consistent with this, with trying to consolidate things to our best knowledge and understanding of the state-of-the-art technology. This adds to what our company is doing in other segments, in biological products with low environmental impact, in microgranulated fertilizers that allow us to save 3/4 of the chemical fertilizers that we normally use in the starting of our crops, and also in seed technologies intended to help us produce more with less, particularly in adverse water conditions. I hope you enjoy this event. I have nothing else to add, only congratulate Ricardo for steadily continuing in this process so that today we are able to visualize these investments that have been planned for quite some time, and also to our international partners who trusted us to set up this center at a local level in Pergamino, Argentina. Thank you very much.
Impecable. Muchísimas gracias a Federico.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Federico Trucco.
Estás ahí en pleno laboratorio.
And Ricardo, I'm asking you, you are in the lab with all the devices. We are going to learn more about these devices from Pablo Timpone and by Belén Aguer. They are responsible for this laboratory. We are going to watch videos and they are going to explain everything. And when you look at the laboratory, you say, and how can all this help me in the everyday life? It can help you, of course. Federico said higher precision, higher effectiveness, lower environmental impact. So try to explore the state of the art. Master, I see you there in the lab. I love to see you there. This is a very modern laboratory with many different devices. What does this mean for you as Rizobacter after many years of work? Whenever I talk to you, I remember Miguel Harner, who has been a pioneer with you. And I look at it and says he would be proud of this. Wherever he is, he would be proud of this. Yes, I always think of him. This is a dream come true. When in 1989, we started to sell Rizospread, which was the first adjuvant that we launched into the market, then we changed it with different products, with better technologies, better spraying capacities, and improving the environmental protection. All these are steps that we make every day. So that's why I say this is a dream come true. When in 2010, we went for the first time to US, we went along with growers. We took people from the company, and we saw all the devices that the people in US had, and now we are able to do this here in Pergamino. We may not be in New York, but really we are very proud of what we have here in Pergamino. There is an important set of cameras and things. There are many cameras. I see that you appear in different places, in different images. I would like to see a spanning of all the things that you have in the lab. Probably all these devices are central to the evaluation of adjuvants and formulations. Aren't they? When we started, we had something important, which was to establish the quality of spraying water. Many years ago, we did this with gas oil, but when you use water, you need to know the quality of the water that you are applying. So we bring 10,000 samples of water per year. With this, we can analyze water twice or three times more samples. This analyzer, you use a liquid that has drops with the active ingredients of the different products, insecticides, herbicides, whatever. And depending on the temperature, the relative ambient temperature, the amount of water that you use or the pressure that you use, you will have different drop sizes, and the drops will impact in a different way. So you have to measure all this and how all this happens in order to know. This is a bubble pressure gauge that measures the dynamic tension of the drop. So it looks at how the droplet rebounds on the leaf. And this is a goniometer that simulates temperature and moisture and also measures the development of the movement, the displacements of the drop on the leaf. Many years ago, we thought about the microscope allows us to see the life of the drop on the leaf, and then this device, the VisiSize, allows us to measure what happens when you add the surfactant to a given formulation. In this way, you can see if you put a bigger drop, a smaller drop, a drop that has a drift or does not have a drift. So you can sort of anticipate what is going to happen in the field when you apply the sprayings. And then the last device, this is a wind channel. It simulates an application with a specific wind, and it helps determine, based on the size of the drop and the wind blown into it, what drift we are going to have if we will have a drift or not, and what would be the ideal size. So in this way, we can avoid drift so that the grain stays inside the field and not to the neighbors, so that we don't have problems with neighbors or problems with citizens in the cities or in peri-urban areas. Tell me, the most advanced countries have this equipment, and all this was developed based on the latest technology in the world, right? Right, with the support of two big companies that helped us, the American company Momentive, which today is still an American company but of Korean capital, and a German company, Schimmer & Schwarz, which provides us with active ingredients, products, and helps us develop new products to improve the quality and efficiency of strain applications and formulations. I was telling the cameraman that it would be great to have a panning from further back to see the dimension. I'm driving him crazy, but I'm telling you guys that we are live. I love this. It's 5:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, 27th May, and we are doing it live and showing all this technology from Industrial Park in Peraminos makes me very proud. I love the production effort you are making along with your team, with the marketing people. You can't imagine how I feel myself when I recall that this company started in a garage 44 years ago, and today we are showing this with this technology and with this level of communication. I loved it because today I was talking about the ecosystem, and there you have a team of suppliers and a team working with you that is fantastic. I was talking about this with Virginia Belgró, a great designer in Pergamino, and I think that she's spectacular. And I saw some pictures of the ceiling. Can we see the ceiling? Because it is not any ceiling. Look at these. These are tubes, aren't they? Yes, little tubes like drops, which is what we apply on the leaves. I loved it. It reminds me of the important tandem set of science, technology, and art. This is technology, science. Art, technology is when we apply it, and art is the way we apply it. I was really proud to see what you are doing. Please, this was given to me. There's people from 20 countries: Uruguay, Ecuador, Brazil, Guatemala, Mexico, Bolivia, Dominican Republic, Peru, Belize, Germany, Panama. 10 people in each of them. So we want to give a hug to these people. In Pergamino, we are broadcasting what is going on here. We don't need to be surprised, because Rizobacter is selling to 40 people and it's having everything necessary to sell it in other more 15 countries with the register. Perfect. You realized that you had to work in the international market, because if you work in the international market, you have to improve in technology, you have to compete with other companies. And so the greatest benefit is for the local grower, for the local producer. And we are selling in 40 countries. We are working with the register in many other countries, and probably in the future we will have 56 countries. Of the $185 million that we want to invoice as Rizobacter, 52 million comes from foreign trade. So 52 million come to Pergamino in dollars, selling technology. And this is not a minor thing. We are not selling a commodity. We are selling technology. When I come from a trip, There is a long time I don't travel, but whenever I came back from every transaction that we did, we brought new ideas that could be converted in new products to be sold again to foreign countries. I want to thank the mayor for being present here. This is seen not only by people in Argentina, but also by people around the world. I have a lot to thank the mayor because from the very first day that he was elected mayor, before he took office, he came to us and he offered his help. And I asked him lots of things. And he was very clear, I won't be able to give you that, but I will manage and I will try to work so that we can help you sooner or later because I want to generate employment in Pergamino. I also want to thank Federico Trucco, his message. Probably you can mention something. Of course, I have to thank Federico. One day he came to us and he bought our shares and he left us alone. He let us grow on our own. And our company is listed in the NASDAQ in New York. We've never dreamt of that. Ricardo, Federico, Javier, I would like to share with the audience this institutional video.
Y acá estamos de vuelta, buenísimo.
We are back again. The video was very nice. This will support the launching of this lab. This lab is dedicated to development, technology in adjuvants and quality applications. So this has to do with good agricultural practices. This is a place where to research, to experiment. This huge ecosystem, agricultural ecosystem in Pergamino, I imagine the students, interns, and people developing new things, documents, papers. It's great when you can imagine things in country and imagine a big country. I will introduce Juan Pablo Timpone, the global adjuvant representative. He has a huge smile. He's very proud of his science. How are you? I'm very happy here because I'm willing to tell you everything we have. And Belén Aguer, she's also responsible for the adjuvant labs. A very beautiful smile. Beautiful smile. They will tell us each of the things that we see in this lab, but let's open our eyes. These labs are just the things that you need in your farm to be more efficient, and we also need to take into account good agricultural practices. We need to use good products. We are going to divide this in 5 parts. They will show us a video. Shall we start with a video, Juan Pablo? This is the automatic titrator. Talking about Argentina, the water quality is double as hard. The hardness doubles the maximum hardness. So the problem of water quality is very important. People from all around the world is watching us, and so it is important to let you know that the problem of water is repeated all over the world. The waters used for agriculture are do not necessarily have the optimal quality in their origin. We love that. We love to reach growers with a solution, with a service, giving support to them. And this automatic titrator is central for us. As Ricardo said, we use many liters of water per year for free, don't have any restrictions. And with this titrator, we want to do better and more precise service. Belén will explain us how this instrument works. Excellent. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ricardo. Here we are watching the video. The automatic titrator we see here can analyze as many as 20 samples at the same time. So this increases the operational capacity for water analysis compared to what we did in the past. And we are going to obtain more reliable, reproducible, and accurate values. This device has been set to automatically measure water hardness, calcium and magnesium content, conductivity, and salinity. This is used to estimate the content of dissolved salts, and also the pH, which is the configuration of hydrogen ions. This is the acidity and the basicity of the medium. We will be able to give the grower the analysis of his or her water, and also we will be able to provide a sequestrant corrector resulting from the water quality in Argentina. With the data that we're obtained with this device, we can feed in a georeference database in order to create a dynamic map of water quality. Excellent. I talked about the producer, the grower, Juan Pablo. The producer, the farmer, probably will wonder, what is the benefit for me? I can tell you what happened to me. When I started to work with this, I wanted to know what was the quality of the water and how important this was for the farmer. And the data that they gave me were very old data, dead data that really didn't give any representative information, whether the land was lowland or was it a hill or whatever. I asked the farmer, and the farmers shared with us their problems. With these devices and with the georeference map, we will know the quality of the water all over the land. Because we are considering inputs of these or imports and exports, and we would like farmers from other countries to send us maps and to send us information. So farmers, when they want to rent a farm, or when they are in their own farm and it's a long time that they haven't conducted any test, any analysis, or in cooperatives, everybody will be able to know the quality of the water, and they will be able to predict the use of phytosanitary products. They also will be able to know why there are lands that are in the same place and the quality of the water is different. So the possibility to put all this information up in the cloud and give life to all this is a dramatic change, and really this will provide quality and quality information and an amount of information that cannot be compared with anything in any other country. Can you talk about the bubble pressure gauge? The difficult name, bubble pressure gauge. This is a very simple question, but it is a challenge. Why do we need a bubble pressure gauge? When you look at the effect of adjuvants, you see probably the range of specific rates, but sometimes you have recommended rates, but you can't find a validation for that. But you never know what happens to the life of the drops. The pressure gauge will allow us to know what is the movement of the surfactants in the bubble or in the drop walls. And so we will be able to know whether the concentration or the rate is enough at the different depths that you work. As when you make land application, but sometimes we do air applications, and so there is a longer distance from the moment the drop is generated until it gets to the object, to the target. The pressure gauge allows us to know what happens in that trajectory to the drop. I would like to tell you that this device has been incorporated to the lab together with Shimanshuar, which is our strategic partner. This device is a very special device to measure the dynamic surface tension. It analyzes in a reliable way the functioning of the surfactants, and it also allows us to measure the behavior of the drop in a spraying. It replicates the conditions in the field, for example, the temperature, because this is done thanks to a camera, a chamber. So in the liquid sample, bubbles are produced. You can see that in the video, and a sensor determines the maximum pressure in which you can obtain the surface tension curves. In the video, you can see how air is insufflated. This allows us to analyze the behavior of our products and the different spraying mixtures with different products in order to develop different solutions depending on the data that we observe. Juanpi, I love this AgTech area. And we always talk about drones. I think that we are not using them as much as we could. There are some areas where it is difficult to get with drones. talking about livestock, for example. We know that this technology will continue to grow and will allow us to have more spraying capacity with a more effective drop. Of course, in drone use and unmanned vehicles, that kind of instrument do not have the capacity as containers we were used to in a plane, in an airplane. So the demand of this kind of instruments, which is growing significantly, is to have the smallest rates as possible so that the total spraying broth is or has the effectiveness that we need, or it performs well over a large surface area. But we need this rate not only, we don't only need it to be low, but we need it to be effective. Rizobacter with a Extremo or Integrum offer very high technological value with the lowest rate possible. We are using 12 centimeters, for instance. We are replacing the rates in Colombia, for example, with very lower rates. What we need to have is that this lower doses or lower rates replace the effectiveness of the higher rates that we used in the past. We need to validate, when we want to validate that the effect of the products that we use is still there, precisely all these devices that we have will help us validate that the rates that we are using are effective. Let's go to the third device. We're going to see 5 of them. Belen is smiling because she anticipates my question. Automatic titrator, I didn't understand very much what titrator meant. Now we have the Gomu Meter. Gomu, what's that? What's a Gomu Meter? What is a Gomu Meter? My requirement was to show that process. The goniometer capacity will be explained by Belen because she will explain that. But what happened to us? We make the broth, we apply it, we spray it, and now we are looking at the target. And we saw that the processes were different depending on how these two worlds, the polar world of the droplet based on water, to the other world in the plant. So we knew that in this process, the drops changed until it reached the target. So we found this device that allows us to give answers to these questions. What is a Gomu Meter? The Gomu Meter is a tool, a very useful and valuable tool that helps us analyze the surface of the drop. You see this in the video. With the software this device has, you can measure the contact angle and the surface energy. Remember that we have been talking about surface tension. This is surface energy. We see that the drop falls on a surface. And this can be compared to the results that we had with the previous device. For this device, we acquired 2 additional, one is the tilting base. Here you can see how this base tilts. And also we had a chamber of controlled environment. In this tilting base, as you can tilt the drop support surface, you can simulate real surfaces as it is the angle of the leaves. And also we will be able to adjust in this chamber the temperature. So we see how the contact angle changes and the surface tension varies depending on the surface angle, the pressure, and the temperature. When you imagine soybeans and weeds and hormonal herbicides, does this represent solutions to volatility, for example? Belén, does this device helps us around these problems? If a technical producer is here, is listening to you, might probably expect that he, with all these devices, he can be more effective and also continue with good agricultural practice. That was a very good question. There are many things that have to be validated in the target. We don't need to be shy about this. We need to facilitate the adoption of technologies of soybean that are dicamba tolerant. Sometimes some things happen regarding volatilization and dicamba loss in the deposit, that is to say, the place where the drop deposits in the leaf, in the plant. It is a challenge for the industry to retain the substance there so that the substance, the dicamba, stays there and works where we want it to work. We will see how much volume is lost in the drop. We will see the better we can control those parameters, we will be able to drive the arrows of the flow towards the target. And so we are going to be more effective in our applications. This is a valid example. We will also be able to increase the adoption rates, or absorption rates, or uptake rates. We know that some products are better absorbed when they are in the liquid phase. We need to improve and increase effectiveness, but we have to be very careful about our social and environmental responsibilities. We need to work with this component, protected environment. Before going to the fourth device, if you are a technician or you are a grower, you want to share this with other professionals, I remind you that all this will be edited and recorded, so you will have access to this information. The good thing is that everything is measured. We know that 5,040 would be 2 stock exchange rooms or half of the Sheraton Hotel. Or I won't say that we have as many people as in Apresid, but you bear in mind that 540 people are watching us from more than 20 countries. I love the fact that now at 6 o'clock, we are connected with 20 countries of the world. I'm proud of that, especially in Pergamino, because I've lived in Pergamino. More than 250 people are watching us from other countries. We have to be proud of this. The fourth device, Juanpi and Belén, this is the most sophisticated. Belén, what happened to your smile? More complicated than the Gomu Meter. What are we going to see now, Juanpi? This is a very beloved device. It has to do, I think, that the leaf revolution is to quantify. We look at characteristics and we make numbers. You can improve numbers and you can use numbers as a barrier and go beyond those numbers. VC size is the red device that you saw today, helps us to add the other component to the equation. When we spray, and the best tool that we have here is the hydrosensitive card. This card measures the end of the application. You spray and you see how much you collected, and you change settings and conditions, and you collect more. Depending on the size of the drop, you will know whether this size of drop is optimum. But if you have the end of the film, but you don't have the beginning, you won't have the whole information. The VC size helps us how the drop size is generated and how an adjuvant can change this. We will be able to segment the different drop sizes. Belén will explain us how that technology works and where we are focusing. See, he is very anxious. He's talking about the fifth. He is so anxious that he started talking about the last device. The VC size was the number 5. He skipped the number 4. It doesn't matter. We go back to the 4th. Let's explain what the VC size is. We acquired, you can see this in the video, this is the VC size, a laser device. This is a very good tool that allows us to measure the sizes below 100 microns and the speed of the drops to make a full analysis of spraying in real time. Oxford lasers. It's a very compact and robust device that allows us to see how the drop size distribution varies and the speed of the drops depending on spraying, on pills. A good thing in this device is that it is portable. You are not only able to do the evaluations in the lab, but you can also take it to the farm, to the field, and do that there. We have a small wind tunnel. In this small wind tunnel, you can simulate conditions of wind-displaced drops. With the VC size, you can measure drops below 100 microns. You can predict the drift of the sprayings, and so we can validate these assumptions with the VC size. I think that this is your preferred device. Going back to technicians and producers and farmers, because I want them to see how this helps them in their everyday work. And how does this impact in spraying techniques? You are talking about drones, about spraying. How does this impact on me when I have my own spraying device? I have to fix it and setting. Always bear in mind the good agricultural practices. I think that this this question has to do with the desire to improve in our spraying. In Peraminos and in many other places, regulations are being put in place for the distance of spraying, and they are really rigid. And sometimes they don't take into account the spraying settings. If you can ensure that you will eliminate drops that are below 100 microns, which are the ones that are more susceptible to drift, and inside the farm, what do you see in the near future? The farmer will have application technologies for 2,4-D, dicamba, or different technologies. And the farmer will be able to choose the different technologies because they will provide different tolerance to different diseases. And we need to guarantee, or we want to let the farmers know exactly what are the risks that the drops can drift or can be displaced or can go to other fields. So we need to have the X-ray of the whole thing. We need to know exactly how our products will behave. Really, I love this device. That's why I skipped the other one. And we are going to talk now about the fourth device. In school or in the university, we learned a lot about this device. The microscope. Can you explain, can you talk about the microscope? It is a good thing to come down to earth and not disregard good old things, although they are classical things.
Por la tecnología y por la técnica de polarización. Es decir, no vale de nada.
It makes no sense if you invest in the best tools if you don't use them correctly. And the microscope helps us to accompany the drop from the beginning to the end. So using the microscope, we will be sure that when we finish all our spraying, all our application, we can close the door safely. We need to show the farmer what are the good things that he or she can perceive. So we want to explain this to them. In this video, you will see the microscope. We see that here we have some lights that are on. This is a camera that is coupled to the microscope. We are going to see the typical magnifications, but we will also be able to capture fixed images and videos. This is a universal tool, very versatile tool, but it will help us observe the most common phenomena that occur in the spraying broths, crystallization, or settlement or precipitations. And we will also be able to observe incompatibility situations that probably you cannot see with the naked eye. We will also be able to see the micro emulsions that are formed with other adjuvants. And we will also be able to measure the size of the micelles. The fact that it has a camera, it allows us to capture fixed images. And it will help us to capture in real time common phenomena such as crystallization. So we've already gone over the 5 devices. We saw them closely in detail. Juanpi, I would like you to give a final thought, a final reflection, so you close this as the responsible person. So you have a sort of global responsibility for this. You are the person that in Pergamino is assuming the responsibility for all this. I need to drop down the curtain, and I would like to bring all my team here. Really, I skipped one instrument, although we had already rehearsed that. And so, although I forgot to talk about the microscope, but we all know what things are about, and so we are a family, and so they help us out. This is what I want. This is the feeling that I like. We are a responsible company that wants to conduct research, but they want to listen to others as well. The fact that we are broadcasting this and spreading this to other countries so that all these people from other countries learn from us. So this is my thing, to tell other people that we are grateful, but we are different and we are thinking of the best solutions for you, so we can find in you the best partners. I want you to look at us as a company that is looking for solutions the way we have never done before. So I'm very happy. I want to invite everybody, those of you who know us. We will do it virtually as long as we have the pandemics with us. I will be open to using video calls or conferences, but whenever that is possible, we will be glad to receive you here face to face in Pergamino. So virtually multiplied by 540 people, a round of applause for you, for the laboratory. And Belen showed us the videos, and she was herself the person working live in those videos. Really very clear, and your freshness are the good vibes that you transmit, because this helps us understand things better. The same with you, Juan Pablos. You are so simple to tell things that are by nature very complex. You're using a state-of-the-art technology in Argentina. Probably the best way to close here is thanking Ricardo Shapur with all his enthusiasm. I always say that we met in 1986, and we have always developed new things. So I'm proud to be with you, because you represent the experience that I have from the very beginning of Rizobacter, with people that made this a huge company, and I've witnessed that. So I'm very proud to see this company grow. Also, I want to thank Federico Trucco, the CEO of Bioceres. This company is, thanks to them, this company is listed in the NASDAQ. Agrositio has been a shareholder from the very beginning, a micro shareholder, but really I'm proud of being an Argentinian and being a small part of this Argentine company that develops technology together with Rizobacter. And thank you very much, Javier Martinez. I've interviewed him twice in launchings as well. I want to thank these 20 countries that are watching us. I want to thank the 540 people that were present this afternoon and all the Argentinians that watched us. It's 6:10, Thursday, May 27, 2021. This is a live broadcast. I received messages from the production. This is an anonymous. Lately, we have very few things to be proud of in Argentina. Rizobacter is one of them. It has an EE rating. This is an entrepreneur, an example entrepreneurs. I see the logo of Leaf in this launching. I'm also proud of Argentina because I'm from the farming sector. I'm also from the agro-industry sector. And with these things, we can have a more effective, more efficient, more sustainable agriculture. Many people living in the cities know that we do in the farming sector. And this is a possibility to communicate better what we do in our farms. With this, in 5 seconds, you can reach many people with this information. So we close this Leaf launch. Thank you very much.